All right, welcome to the Reboot Perfection Masterclass. And, you know, I wanted to do this for a really long time. And so for those of you who are listening, I want to thank you so much. By a quick introduction, I don't want this to be all about me. I am Kim Barnes Jefferson, and I am the host of the Fit Girl Magic podcast. I also work with women over 40 to help them feel comfortable, confident in their bodies without all the damn rules. So let's just dive right in. So most women over 40, they want to lose weight. Right? You're listening here, you probably want to lose weight, get healthier, however you want to describe it. But they feel that in order to do this, it has to be done in a perfect way. They want weight loss to feel effortless. They don't want to be this desperate dieter. They want to feel like comfortable and confident in their body, but they keep repeating these same sabotaging behaviors. And, I have clients who will tell me that I'm an all or nothing person. I'm a perfectionist. And that's what's keeping me stuck repeating the same patterns. And so, maybe you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know if that's me. I don't know if I'm a perfectionist. I don't know if I'm all or nothing. So I'm going to, break down and describe what makes a perfectionist, because maybe you have these tendencies and you're like, oh, that's me. So, um, some people, like I said, some clients will tell me like they've been a perfectionist their entire life, and that's just who they are. That's how they identify. But again, you might not identify that. So being a perfectionist isn't always just about being perfect, right? It's about taking actions that are good enough. And, one of the things that I hear from people is that, you know, that your actions have to be a certain way. And if your actions have to be a certain way or taken in a certain step, or if you miss a step and you feel like you got to go back to the beginning, that's that's a perfectionist behavior. That's a perfectionist behavior. You list your spirit animal. You love checking off that to-do list. I know I do. I love checking off the to-do list. But does that give you, if you miss a box, do you feel bad? Do you feel that you didn't do enough? Do you always are like, beating yourself up because you put 500 things on your to-do list and you only got 5 done? So, and it doesn't leave space for spontaneity and flexibility because it wasn't on the list. You can't relax. I hear clients say to me like, I feel guilty if I'm not doing, if I'm not moving. You're watching a movie, watching, TV, and you're reading a book, or you're doing other things at the same time to just give yourself that busyness, always feeling the need to multitask. You worry if you're doing it right. You have this innate fear of failure, or making a mistake, or not taking the right steps, or being bad at things, being a beginner. Uh, you procrastinate. That's one of my perfectionism tendencies, is procrastination. This masterclass, I wanted it to be perfect. So I procrastinated. I was getting the mail. I was doing laundry, anything but park my booty down to write this course so that I could share it with you. And you procrastinate because you're like, you have these high standards, and you say to yourself, there's no way that you can meet the unreasonable standards that you set for yourself. Oh, and afraid to make a mistake or fail, right? Here I am chatting with you. I could fall flat on my face. You feel like you must do all the things, right? I talked about earlier, like that all or nothing. It's light switch. It's either on or it's off. And especially when it comes to nutrition and exercise, that is just like, I think, one of the number one reasons they keep a lot of people stuck with where they're, excuse me, stuck with where they are. If you can't do all the things, then why do it at all? If you miss a step, then you must start all over again at the beginning. And I just see a lot of people, women, especially in the weight loss category, just going, living in that vicious circle of just, I suck, I'm going to start again. I suck, I'm going to start again. I'm going to go hard, I'm going to go again. You must review all the choices, right? You can't make a decision, it's like analysis paralysis. That's what it's called. Analysis paralysis, that you think there's more information out there for you to have before you can take action, that there is a perfect action out there for you and you just haven't found it yet. Meanwhile, you have amassed this much knowledge and you haven't taken one step towards that. Now that I've like broken this down for you, is there anything that you identify? Maybe you identify with a couple of things there, and that's okay, right? Like I said, I identify with the all or nothing. I identify with the procrastination. I identify with just analysis paralysis. So we can see that across multiple spectrums of our life. I worked in corporate before I started doing health and fitness, and I look at like the standards that I set for myself, I set for my team. They were just like, oh, good God, who could meet them? And I, would bang myself head against the wall trying to keep these, crazy standards. And for those people who worked with me at the time, I'm like, I apologize. I was a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And when I couldn't reach my high standards at work, I changed my body, right? Like, because guess what? Your body doesn't complain. Your body doesn't yell back. Your body just, you can beat your body into submission. Well, you can beat your body into submission until your body yells back. And my body yelled back. And it yelled loud, I guess, because I'm a loud person too. My body yelled back loud. And it was my perfectionist tendencies that was keeping me stuck from breaking out of the rut that I had put myself in. And so, again, how is perfectionism showing up for you in your life? And if you're still here, it makes me think that like I've said something that like has like I wish I could raise my eyebrow, be like, but I can't raise my eyebrow. You know how The Rock can like raise his eyebrow and do all these crazy faces. I can't do that. So imagine me raising my eyebrow and saying, if anything has raised your eyebrow, keep listening. So, I want, my jam is health and fitness. So I really wanted to really explore, how does perfectionism manifest itself in your journey to becoming a effortless weight loss person, to stop being the desperate dieter, always seeking one thing to another thing to another thing. So the first place it shows up is in your nutrition, right? And I see it all the time with this all or nothing, right? You have one extra glass of wine with a friend at dinner. Well, I might as well start again on Monday. I have an extra brownie. I eat, 2 bitefuls of mac and cheese off my kid's plate. And then you're like, set the sign, I might as well just eat the rest of the kitchen, right? So I see that all the time, or guilt about, what you ate or what you didn't eat. Food rules, right? People come to me and they're like, oh, Kim, I need the good food list. And I'm like, oh, all foods are good, right? If you take one thing away from this training, all foods are good. It's just a matter of the quantity that you have the foods. And so, have you fully considered this behavior? Is this kind of behavior keeping you stuck? Is these thoughts of, I can't have a cookie on a Wednesday, I can only have them on weekends. And then your weekends kind of blow up because, what started as one little thing, because you've restricted so hard during the week, you blow up. And so this vicious cycle is keeping you stuck because you're solely relying on willpower and motivation. And at some point that well runs dry. It runs dry pretty fast. And I'm sure you have experienced that. The next place is I see it in exercise, right? Again, it comes to like always wondering, was your workout enough? Or if you, my old thing was I had to hit 400 calories when I was doing cardio. Like if I didn't hit 400 calories, I could not get off of whatever piece of equipment that it was, or I would hop to certain pieces of equipment and add up the calories so that I could burn 400. Now it's become even more data driven, because my Fitbit tells me, my Apple Watch tells me, my whatever piece of equipment that you have on your arm tells you, and we get sucked into, did I hit that piece of data? And then we create a story around what happened because I didn't hit that piece of data. And that story then becomes, this is what I normally do. So if I can't normally do it every day, then guess what? I might as well not do it at all. And that was me. Like, if I could not do a 2-hour workout, why work out? And I felt like if it was that 2-hour block, that was what was keeping me with my gains, not all the other things that I was doing that cumulatively added up. And so, you've heard this time and time and time again. You can't outrun a bad diet. And, you believe with your whole heart that it's the exercise that is keeping the weight off. But have you fully considered that it might be our habit of over exercising that is keeping us stuck? I have 2 clients. Let's call one Jane. Jane, she has trouble with her digestive system right now, but she's fantastic at the gym. And she's like, Kim, but I can go more. I can go more to the gym. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If we can't figure out what's going on with your nutrition, it doesn't matter how hard you work at the gym, because you're just going to be moving in a more of a caloric deficit that might not help you she's looking to build muscle. And in order to build muscle, she needs a caloric surplus, right? So that's, that is a problem with the thinking that I can just exercise my way out of the problem. The other one is that, like, I've always done this. I've always gone to, spin class in the morning, boot camp at night, and I lift at noon during the day. And when you ask why, they're like, just, I've always done it, right? And it's kind of helping them to, like, break out of, trying to see if we can break out of, how do we just stop doing things we've been always doing and just kind of ask ourselves, why are we doing it? Is this getting me to my goal? The other piece is mindset, right? Perfectionism, or all these things that I've raised your attention to around perfectionism, that's a mindset. And so here's where, you feel like you can't make any mistakes, right? A mistake is fatal. And if you make a mistake, it's a sign for you to say, what, see, look, I tripped, I fell, it's a sign. I screwed up I didn't hit 400 calories on my workout. I had an Oreo. Then it's a sign, I suck, I fail. And so, it's that mindset that just keeps us, like, cranking that same thought process. And, it's like the other place is that we have a timeline in our head. We have a timeline of how fast we think we should get our goals. And that if we're not getting our goal, then we have to go harder. We have to restrict more. And, you think it's about setting these high standards for yourself. And that's what's going to motivate you. That's what's going to inspire you to take the action. And if we let the reins up just a touch, all hell is going to break loose. Holy hell is going to break loose. And so, how many times have you worked really hard for something and you weren't able to achieve it? And so this is like, clearly, working hard doesn't always guarantee your success. So here's where that mindset is at. Like, maybe if I fail a few times, I might learn a few things and maybe I'll go down a few rabbit holes. That's okay, but I'll learn what's not going to work for me. I've had multiple conversations about people with food, and they'll be like, this is the best food on the planet, but it might not be the best food on the planet for you. Right. And so, regularly I have these conversations, like eggs. I love eggs, but I know that if I eat eggs, I'm hungry 2 hours later. I'm like, what's next? So it doesn't satisfy me enough. So eggs aren't a good food for me. So here's where we kind of start to think about our mindsets of the things that we've always told ourselves. And how do we start to break away from those beliefs? And, maybe you don't even know that it's a belief, but it's like, can we take pause, right? Can we start to take pause about what the things because we've always done it that way, right? Lastly is our habits. 40% of what you do every single day is your habit. And I like to use this example because it's one of the most, I like these 2 examples because it's what most people can truly identify with. One, when you have coffee in the morning, do you think about cream, sugar, cream? you don't think about it. You just do. It's just what you do, right? And maybe you put cream and sugar before you pour the coffee, or do you pour the coffee and then the cream and sugar, right? So this, excuse me, so many different scenarios that I don't know how many people think about it that way. You don't think about it. It's a habit. Or driving to work, or driving to the gym, or place you just drive over and over and over again. Do you think I back out of my driveway? I turn right. I turn left. Like, do you even think about it? Or you're just like, next thing you know, you're in your car and you're like, oh, I'm almost there. Or heck, I'm here. And you don't even remember what happened. So that's 40% of our day is you on autopilot. And so it's our habits that keep us repeating the same patterns. We're setting those high standards. Even if we don't meet them, it's a habit that I need. My standard is here, right? My standard has to be here. So then I procrastinate because I'm nervous. Like, oh, what if I can't meet that standard that I set? Am I going to be enough to create, hit that standard? Do I need more information in order to take action? And so you think that, you need that working hard guarantees these results. You think that these standards are going to guarantee your results. And I totally understand that. Like, my habits, they weren't serving me. They were keeping me they were keeping me stuck and always wondering, was I making the right move? And I did that because, I felt that I fell victim to that go big or go home, right? The diet industry, fitness industry is all about like, yeah, you must go hard for 75 days. If not, you a punk. But are you? But are you a punk? How many times have you gone big and gone home and failed? And then you're like, you think, I suck. See, other people can do it. It's all, and you point to all these, like, now with social media, you can point to all these randos on the internet and be like, Susie 456, she can do it. Hot girl number 75, she can do it. Why can't I? And so I totally understand that. Like, that was me for a really long time. I fell victim to it. My clients have fell victim to it. And so how do you break this? How do you take that? Like, you're like, all right, Kim, you just are taught, you're preaching to the choir. How do you make this shift? And the way you make this shift is, one, awareness, right? This class right here is all about raising your awareness to be like, okay, that's me. You're absolutely right. So once I become aware of it and I acknowledge it, like, yeah, I kind of do that, then I can say, all right, one of the things that really helped me to start was journaling. Like, where am I seeing this? Right. I walked out how I see it in the weight loss industry. Where are you seeing the perfectionist tendencies showing up in your life? Write it down. And so that when it starts to happen, I could be like, oh, yeah, that's perfectionism. I'm procrastinating here. Oh, you know what? I told myself because I had that extra glass of wine, then, game over. I got to start again on Monday. And so it's really saying to yourself, like, okay, acknowledging this is where I am, being aware of it, and just actually kind of starting to see, getting introspective. And a lot of us, especially us A++ with side of A++, we don't want to take that time. We don't want to slow down because in my perfectionist mindset, I am wasting time if I slow down. And so one of the things I was charged to, and I'm going to charge it to you here in our to-do section, our action section, is 5 minutes, like 5 minutes, and say, like, where's this showing up? And like literally grab your cell phone and put a timer on it so that you can do that. The second place, allow for mistakes. Mistakes are learning. They are not fatal. And so there's a woman, her name is Brooke Castillo, and she runs a life coaching program. And she talked about, us perfectionists, we want to go for the A++ and extra credit. She talks about going for the B-, right? And so when I first heard that, I was like, B-. But hear me out. So she said, go for the B-. And so when I was a kid and I would come home from school and I would get a C, and I would tell my mom, I'm like, I got a C. And she's like, a C? That's for average people. You're not average. And so that was ingrained in me as a kid. And, I don't think my mom was trying to be, trying to turn me into perfectionist, but I think she was like, you shouldn't just sit on my laurels. Like, let's be honest with each other. Left to my own devices, sometimes I don't push myself as hard as I could. So I think that was her way of trying to push me. So here, Brooke was like, go for the B minus. And so what that meant is lower my standards just a touch, because done is better than perfect. And so think about how many times that you are sitting here ruminating over the things that you want to do, the steps that you want to take, but you're not taking any steps. And so many people are looking for motivation to do the thing. Well, guess what? If I did the thing, then the motivation would come. And if I did the thing in a smaller scaled back the expectations that I have of myself, I might just blow my own damn mind. So here's where I challenge you to go for that B minus, because how can you win a race if you never put your Nikes on, right? If you're just sitting on the bench, just like waiting for the perfect time to hop in to tag in, you're always going to be sitting on the bench, waiting and waiting and waiting. And so one of the ways I was able to overcome this kind of like being the bench warmer, and what I encourage my clients to do is I call it good, better, or best, right? So with good, better, or best, it is when you do good, better, or best, it's not about nailing the best thing, right? It's you sitting in your mind that says, like, what's my bare minimum? Like, this is my bare minimum. This is the next thing I'll set. And this is the next thing I'll set. And when you do that, it'll minimize you from one, setting crazy expectations, to overwhelm, right? So the best way I can describe it is the gym. So I I used to work with a lot of fitness competitors. Now I do a lot more focusing on women over 40 just to live a better, healthy lifestyle. And so when I was in the fitness competitor space, a lot of them are, who've transitioned from that hardcore fitness competitor to just how do I live a daily life? It was like, how do I do that? And so I was like, well, you used to just push yourself to go to the gym, 6-7 days a week. And I said, what if you just said to yourself, like, what's your bare minimum? Like the bare minimum of days that you will feel like acceptable to go to the gym. And so you can say 3. My bare minimum going to gym is 3. My next one is my good is 3. My better is 4. My best is 5. Right. And so that way, if I have, I'm going to say week, right? We all have those. Sometimes we have a week. Then I can say, okay, I had a week. Now I'm going to, I can only do 3. And if I do 3, then I can still say, you know what? That was my B minus. My 3 was my B minus, and everything else moves up from there. And then the more success I have at like doing 3, the more I will feel comfortable, not always trying to climb my Everest in a bikini in clear heels. Right. So it helps you to here we are, we're creating a realistic lifestyle versus life changing, right? Everyone wants this like, I must change my life in 1 week, that life changing ain't Amazon, right? I can't on Monday be like, I'm going to change my life. And then Friday, expect, the Amazon driver to be like, Prime's here. Here's your life changing moment. Enjoy. That just doesn't happen that way. So, if you want to change your life and create a new lifestyle, it's about creating your foundational habits. The other piece here is focus on what you did accomplish, right? So many times when clients check in with me, I'm like, hey, rate your week. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't get everything done. And so I look and I'm like, well, I see you got your workout in. I see that your food was good. I see your sleep was good. Why was it a bad week? Well, I missed 1 day at the gym. And I was like, so in your good, better, best scenario, what was up? Well, I hit 3 days. okay, but you want, I'm like, so what, you wanted to hit 4, you wanted to hit 5? Well, I wanted to hit 5 and I didn't do it. And I'm like, okay, so why couldn't you hit it? And like, oh, well, my kid was sick, something at work. And I'm like, okay, so you're beating yourself up because you hit your 3, you're good, but you had outstanding circumstances that you couldn't predict that came at you. And now you're crap, you're shit. That's where we have to focus on, what do we accomplish? Like, I hit my good, boom, winner, gold star, right? So that we start to really focus in on the things that we did well, because when we start to think about the things we will do well, I want to do it again. When I keep beating myself up, do I want to do it again? Yeah, think about like when you're training an animal and the animal is peeing where they're not supposed to be or laying where they're not supposed to be, you make it hard. You might put a deterrent. You might spray them with a water bottle. I don't have an animal to train, but I think the scenario works. You do things that doesn't reward the behavior. So if I'm going to the gym 3 days a week and I told myself good was 3 days a week, why would I beat myself up about that? So here's where I say to you, you got to look at, what are your choices? This is where we have these if thens, right? So, maybe you're 2 days in and it's getting later in the week. So it's like, all right, if you missed a spin class, could you then go for a walk at home? If you missed didn't go to the grocery store, then can you order Peapod, or could you order a salad with protein on it at your local restaurant, right? So it's like, instead of saying, this is what I miss, it's like, well, what are the other choices that I could make instead of what I originally planned? And then have the courage, if the week just like blows up on you, like, then say to yourself, have the courage to forgive yourself, right? Well, courage is one of my favorite words. And so many people don't have the courage to forgive themselves, to be like, you know what? I tried my best. And if you follow me regularly, I have this ritual. When I brush my teeth at night, I will like recap my day. And it's recapping my day, not in a, Kim, you suck, smack myself around. It's like, okay, how did today go? Did I get everything accomplished that I wanted to? Okay. And then I'm like, if I didn't, it's like, what could I have improved? Right. So it's more from a constructive way versus you suck, you can't do that. It's like, tomorrow we're going to try harder, we're going to go harder, we're going to go faster, we're going to do no. Who gets hyped up around that? If you get hopped up around that, holla at me, right? That's like the military. That's why, for those people who are in the military, I'm like, God love ya, because I cannot have someone in my face yelling at me. That's not motivating. That is making me be like, I'm just gonna lay down and go to bed today. Like, it's so I want you to think about, does that, like, you beating the crap out of yourself, motivate you to take action? Because mistakes don't define you. Like, use the opportunity from that mistake to learn, right? To learn what's going on. Start to think about, who are the people in your life that you admire and how have they gotten their success, right? So, I don't know who said this, but I've heard it multiple times and it wasn't me. Success leaves clues, right? Success leaves clues. And when I'm looking at these people, I can't be looking at some 20-something-year-old person, because you probably don't have kids, I don't know what you do for work, aging parents. So we're not an apples to apples comparison. But I'm also not going to look at someone who I just decided to start working out and look at someone who's been doing it for 20 years, because we're on a different journey. They might be aspirational for you, but I'm not going to compare myself to that person. So it's more about, what are the things that they are doing, the habits that they have, the way that they're living. Are they truly embracing this healthy lifestyle, right? Not in an obsessive way, but it's like finding a way to weave health and fitness into their lives. Because I have to shift my perspective. And most women never realize that their perfection, their all or nothing mindset, it's like planting flower seeds in the desert. And you expect them to grow. You're watering them and you're like, where are my posies? They're not growing. And sure, you can water them all day. You can put down fertilizer. You can do all that thing, but it doesn't mean you're going to see results. And that's what I want you to start thinking about, because it's like, if I water seeds in a desert, they're not going to grow, no matter how much love and attention I give it. And so it isn't about, it's about finding activities that are going to be benefiting my fitness. It's going to be, yeah. It's about finding activities that are going to benefit my fitness so that you can move yourself closer and closer to your goal. And the closer it can be one step at a time. It's not this like, I'm going to leap tall buildings in a single bounds, because that's where we get in trouble, right? Because sometimes we leap and we make that building. Sometimes we leap, we smack right into that building. And as I take these small leaps, again, more confidence grows. And I look back and I'm like, oh, look at me. How many, um, pods I've gone through because I've taken smaller actions. I've broken it down. And so that way you gain that confidence, and you gain your confidence. And the more confidence you have, the more you want to do. And here's where motivation comes from. Here's where the discipline comes from, because you've showed yourself the path. Your belief batteries start to kick in, right? So it's just all these things are starting to fire on all cylinders, and you're just like, you're feeling like, King Kong on top of the Empire State Building. So right now you have a choice. You can continue working hard, trying to be perfect, working your butt off with little to nothing to show with it. In fact, like that's what most women do. Thinking that it's all the activity that is getting them closer and closer to the goal. Or you could be that type of woman who focuses on breaking the cycle, right? And you're breaking the cycle so that you are no longer the desperate dieter, that you are finally that woman who has found, rebooted their nutrition, and you have found that effortless place that you just wake up and you know what to eat, what to do. You're not spending endless brain cycles on food. What am I going to eat? Why did I eat this? Why didn't I eat that? Oh my God, my workout. What am I going to do? Oh my God, I'm going on vacation. Oh, I can't work out. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm not going on vacation, right? Like, am I the only person who had those crazy thoughts? And so if this is you, let's take the first few steps together, and let's start to focus on breaking up with the perfectionism when it comes to your nutrition. Jack LaLanne is the father of modern fitness, and he said this, and it still holds true to today. There's a lot of things that have ebbed and flowed in nutrition and fitness, but this has always stayed. Nutrition is queen, fitness is king. And we all know, if the queen ain't happy, the king ain't happy. So if we start to work on our nutrition, we'll start to have more energy, when we have more energy, we'll be able to sleep better. We'll be able to do the workouts. We'll be able to just not come home and just crumble onto the couch, play with our kids. And so we'll finally start to, when we focus on nutrition, we'll finally stop trying to figure out what the F to eat and understand how our body works without someone else's rules, and learn how to break from food obsession, be it obsessively looking for the good food list, obsessively being like, if it's not organic, I'm not going to eat it, and finally feel comfortable in our bodies. And so if that's something sounds like something that you want to further explore, then you want to hop on the wait list for my Reboot Nutrition course. And that is I'm still putting on the finishing pieces to it, but that is going to be the crux of the course, is that it's really going to be focused on nutrition and giving you the fundamentals that you need so that you are never looking for another diet or never wondering like what the hell I should be eating again. So somewhere around this video, you are going to see a link. Just click the link and hop on the wait list there. And as I wrap up, if you have any questions about anything I've talked about today, or want to further deep dive, do me a favor. You can always find me at hello@kimbarnesjefferson.com. I also invite you to join my Facebook group, which is Fit Girl Magic. So again, if you have any further questions, you want to take a deeper dive here, feel free to shoot me an email, or if you want to hop yourself on the waitlist and learn more about my Reboot Nutrition course, do that by clicking the link somewhere around this video. All right, thank you so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.